Hello and welcome to this redstone creation video. This week I have an AFK Nether Wart Farm that I was inspired to build based on what I saw Tango Tek do on Hermitcraft. What Tango had done was try to collect all the nether wart from underneath the soul sand, and then collecting the strays in the water stream came second. What I decided to do was instead use the same water stream that's pushing the player along to also collect the items. And what I've come up with is modular, so you can build it however big you need to. Of course, like Tango, you're probably never going to need nether wart in such bulk unless you plan to build with red nether brick or nether wart blocks. With this design, each module has its own storage ability, and if you want to consolidate all of the storage to one location, your best bet will probably be to use a hopper minecart to collect from all the chests and deliver to one central location like I've done here on the green concrete blocks. While using this farm, the player's own inventory supply of nether wart for planting will be sustained before it gets collected by the hopper in each module. I'm going to go ahead and throw this armor stand into the water stream so I can look from a third person perspective. When the armor stand goes over the pressure plate, it will do the harvest, but then also be able to click up that nether wart before it's picked up by the hopper, like that. So what's going on is, besides the pressure plate doing the harvest, it will also push these pistons underneath to put a redstone block underneath the hopper. This will lock the hopper until the next module harvests, in which case the redstone block gets pushed back out of the way, and the hopper can collect whatever items have not been collected by the player. Because there's no method for speeding up the growth of nether wart, the player while AFK will have to eventually wait for the nether wart to continue growing, so what we have over here is the redstone to make that happen at the end of each cycle of harvest. When the player comes along this pressure plate, they will power this redstone line, and it will push this piston ahead. So let me go ahead and show that with the armor stand. Now the water stream has been cut off, so the player will sit there and wait. What happens when that redstone block gets pushed is that this standard etho hopper clock will get activated, and at the same time this hopper will be unlocked and it will dump all of its items into this dropper. What this basically does is provide a multiplier to the etho hopper clock so that however long you have set on this hopper clock will be multiplied by however many items you have in here. In the first time that this unpowers from the hopper clock, this line of redstone will power, and it will push this redstone back into place to lock this hopper again. And then every time after that, this dropper will push an item back into that hopper, and when it's finished unloading into the hopper, the comparator will turn back on, or will turn off, which will turn the torch back on, which will then pulse the piston over here to put this redstone block back into place, and then retract the block that was impeding the water stream, and the player will get to continue on his way. What I've also done for this particular setup is to activate the hopper minecart when the player has finished the harvest to go along underneath every chest and harvest the nether wart that was produced. An important thing to point out when using this farm AFK is you want to make sure that you have food in your offhand so that you do keep yourself fed and so you don't starve to death while having a long session of AFK, because you will lose hunger points. Okay, hold up. Everything you just watched I had recorded, and I did all my editing, and I even did a tutorial for what you see behind me on the left there. And then I realized I had tunnel vision, and there is a better way to design this exactly the same, and that is what I'm going to jump over to now, and I'm going to do a tutorial on that. And I'll explain the difference and why the new design is much better. Okay, let's go. So basically what I've done to make this better is, instead of having the sticky pistons pulling the soul sand out from under the nether wart and then pushing the nether wart into the water stream, I have normal pistons pushing the nether wart directly into the water stream. The other change that I made is with the second pressure plate, It is able to extend the water stream 1 block further along, so instead of 9 blocks, the module is now 10 blocks long, which means there's an extra nether wart block, or nether wart on a soul sand block. So instead of 7 nether warts per module, you have 8 nether warts per module. The second pressure plate actually powers the pistons underneath directly, so you don't need to do any wiring down below, and it's just this block gets powered by the pressure plate to power this piston, and also powers this piston with bud powering and an update from this piston. The reason it won't work from the hopper is that the hopper won't take the charge, so having the second pressure plate over a normal block allows much easier piston action down below for locking the hoppers and the modules. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and build up 2 modules of this design so that you can see the difference in the wiring for the front of a row and the back of the row, and then also the wiring in between the modules. So here we're going to start with the first pressure plate in the first module. I'm going to go ahead and place 2 blocks behind for the water stream and 1 to the side for redstone. And then in front, we're going to have the next pressure plate, and then we're going to run 8 blocks. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's where the first hopper is going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and place the chests and the hopper. On top of the hopper is pressure plate, and then you're going to need a second pressure plate, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks. And then again over here is going to be another collection point, so I'll place chest, chest, hopper, pressure plate, and another pressure plate. Now I'm going to build up the redstone and put all the pistons into place. So out of the pressure plate with the redstone, we're going to go block up, and another block up here. At the top we're going to have 7 blocks, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then just run the line of redstone along this whole chain. And underneath those 7, we're going to have 8 pistons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You don't need a redstone here because this piston will be powered by this block and updated by this piston, so it saves just a piece of redstone. And then underneath, for the front here, we're just going to need a single piston looking forward like that. Yes, okay. Now, next line of redstone, exactly the same. Just build up the blocks. And here we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go ahead and place those pistons underneath. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Don't forget the redstone. And above the redstone next to the pressure plate, we're going to have a glass block so that there's a barrier for items, but it doesn't cut off the redstone line. And then underneath here, in the middle section of the module, we're going to have a piston facing backwards that's underneath the second pressure plate, and then another piston facing forward just in front of that. And then over here, underneath this pressure plate, we're going to have another piston facing backward. Between these pistons, we're going to have a line of blocks. It can be any movable block you want. And then just in front of the hopper, we'll have a redstone block. We'll do the same thing over here. Just place some blocks. And in front of this hopper, we'll have a redstone block. Now let's build up the walls around the water stream and where the soul sand is going to be. So right here by this pressure plate, we're going to have a wall. And then here is where the soul sand is. There's going to be 8 soul sand. And then same thing for the next module. Just have a wall there, and 8 soul sand. Right. Then come around here. Just going to build a 2 tall wall along the whole length. And right here. And then we're also going to need a sign behind the pressure plates there. And we're going to do that for the whole length. Right above the chests, instead of the full blocks, we're just going to use the upside down stairs to completely cover the wall, but still allow the chest to be opened. And again, we're going to place a sign behind pressure plates right there. I'm just going to keep doing that until the last module. Don't forget the stair blocks above the chest. Ugh, I'm lagging. And the sign. And go ahead and place some of the water in, and we're going to finish doing the water stream next. So I went ahead and finished building the walls to contain the water stream. And same as before, we're going to place the water bucket in front of the sign over the pressure plates. And wherever that finishes running, we're going to go ahead and place 2 signs, one at the end and one just above, to place the next water source to carry us along back. And here we have sign, sign, and water source. And that's basically how all of your water streams are going to be for however you're designing your whole layout. Right over here at the corner, I suggest doing a pressure plate so that you can do the redstone if you want, and then a sign there, and then the last water stream that will come back around to the beginning. Another important step to make sure that you don't lose any of the nether wart that you harvest is to cover up above where the pistons push out the nether wart. I haven't seen it firsthand, but I do believe that if you don't put blocks above here, then the nether wart might end up on top of the block and not in the water stream. So that should contain all of the possible places for the nether wart to fly to. So now I'm going to do the redstone for the waiting period for the player during farming. First thing I've done already is I've replaced the sign I had there with a pressure plate, and on the side of that we're going to run a line of 4 pieces of redstone dust. And I've also already put in the sticky piston below the corner block right here. We're going to need a couple of normal pistons. We're going to go right there and there from that redstone line. I'm going to go ahead and place another piston just 2 blocks spaced away from there. And same thing with this piston. We're going to need that piston right there. And then both of those are going to have a redstone block like that. Underneath this one, we're going to need a line of 2 pieces of redstone. And then we're going to need a hopper facing away from that line. And then I'm also going to make sure I get the dropper placed into that hopper right there. From behind the dropper, we're going to have this redstone line to here, and that will be coming from this direction. And we're going to have a block at the end of that line. And on this block, we're going to have redstone torch. Yes, okay. Then over here is where the hopper clock is going to be. So we're going to have a piece of redstone right there and a comparator out there. Space of 2 blocks, we're going to do a block, 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 piece of redstone, dust, and comparator out. Go ahead and place the hoppers facing into each other and place a redstone block on top. Now we're going to need a couple of sticky pistons, one on that side, one on that side, correct? Yes, and then we're going to draw a line from that redstone block to keep this locked. So we're going to block there, block there, block there, and then run the line right here. Redstone across into that block, and then right here is a repeater, and that will lock that hopper. And then lastly, we're going to need another comparator out of the dropper. That will face into this block right here with a redstone torch on top, and to another line of redstone like this. And then what I'm going to do, we're going to have a piston facing upward and a block after the piston and a block on top of the other piston. We're going to have a repeater out from here, but we're going to need to go ahead and grab a gravity block to place on top of this piston. This is just a pulse generator, so you could also do this with a sticky piston and any other movable block. If I've done everything correctly, that should be everything. And you just need to go ahead and place some items into this hopper as the multiplier. It should only have a few. And then into the hopper clock, we're going to need many to create a long time. I like to do 3 stacks and then adjust the multiplier as needed. For the sake of completion, I'm also going to go ahead and place down the hopper minecart collection system. That will probably be the most standard thing to use here. So the way I did it over on that large scale one, we're going to have the collection right here. So we're going to have a couple chests and a couple hoppers. Nope, place those chests. Right, then just basically going to take this line right here all the way back to, yep, that will do. Maybe one further to make sure the hopper goes all the way past and then back again. So you've got that line running right next to where these redstone blocks are, and it's nice, they serve the function of powering the powered rails. So let me go ahead and place these in. And then right here at the corner, you're going to need the normal one to have a bend. It's going to go right onto that hopper. And then the hopper minecart sits right there. And that gets activated when the player goes over that pressure plate. Don't forget to make sure it bounces off the block at the very end. And this will basically collect from all the chests that you have in your array. So what we have now should be fully functional. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hope the tutorial was easier to follow. Hopefully this comes in handy for you if you ever need large quantities of nether wart. So thanks for watching, and leave a like or comment. I'm always open to feedback. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing for some more weekly Minecraft videos. And see you next time.